You know, I'm kind of running out of parts to take off. It's a blustery day in the 100-acre wood, and we're going to take off the last few pieces of chrome on this bucket. We're going to remove the trunk latch. That's 2 7/16. And we'll just pop those off. Now to remove the trunk button, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, Phillips screws. Let's work on those for a bit. So with the actual mechanism out of the way, we can see the actual button when you push the button down, and we have to get this nut off. You know, the British probably have a tool to fit that, but I don't, because I'm not British. So I'm going to try my little needle nose pliers here. Ta-da! There's that. And I'll just try to work it loose. Oh, there it is. So there you go. We got the trunk latch out. Okay, now it's time to take off our MGB emblem. Looking inside the trunk, we can see it's held on by these little push things. You just push them on, and they stay there. And as you can see, these have been there for, 60 years or so. I have found if I try to pull them off, I'll break them. But if I can grab them and turn them while gently pulling down on them, I can get them off without damaging them or the emblem, like that. Ta-da! So let's take all those off. Okay, I want to take these off now. To get these off, they're held on by a screw that's up inside here, way up in there, that I can't even see. So I had to climb in the trunk to try to get to this screw up here. You know, I haven't been inside of a trunk since I was helping my cousin Vito back in Chicago. Here's the hinge, and here is the screw that we want to try to get out. Well, there's one. Magnetic. And there's the other one. There are 2 of these. Good luck with that. Now I gotta try to get this old body out of the trunk. You can stop recording now. Here's all the stuff we just took off the trunk, or out of the trunk area. One thing I noticed is that this little piece of rubber seal that goes around the trunk latches, that's gonna have to be replaced. And these little grommets that I believe are the wires for the license plate light goes through there. Those will be replaced. The little chrome bezels here that hold down the convertible top or the tonneau cover, you see they're a little pitted. And for what these costs, I'm just going to buy new ones. The MG logo, I can clean this up well enough, as well as the MGB part. The trunk latch, yeah, we'll clean that up and reuse it. Not a problem with that. You know, I had so much fun taking out the steering column. I think I'm going to take out the heater vents and plumbing while I'm under here. Pull out the rest of the wiring harness and take out, that speaker and the wiper motor. So as you can see here, this is the carpet that goes over the transmission tunnel. I've seen many carpets like this before. I have not ever seen anything like this before. That is some sort of padding that is sitting on top of the transmission tunnel that the carpet rests on. And this is pretty hard stuff. So we're going to save these because obviously they look like original equipment, but I've never seen that. So no matter how many years you work on these cars, you never know what you're going to discover. As I continued taking apart the inside, I came upon something that I thought was quite interesting. This is the little squeaky door that you grab this knob that sits above your right knee and you open the door and it goes squeak, 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 squeak. And this is the panel that covers the vent. And this is the tubes that go in here that go to your defrosters, right? Okay, this is what was inside there. As you can see, I don't even know how all of this junk gets in there, but that was really restricting the airflow. Oh yeah, and that squeaky door, this right here, this part here is the squeaking. See right there? See how that moves? It's a little roller. That's the squeaking you hear when that rolls against this. So I'll make sure that's lubricated pretty good before I put this back together. These are items that I am going to paint and recondition. The rubber elbows for the defrosters, I'm going to clean up and try to reuse them. The defroster tubes, I'm probably going to buy new ones. The door for the vent is going to be redone. I started working on these already, sanding them a little bit, but these will all be sanded and then repainted. And this, of course, is the part that goes over the transmission. The gear shift comes out here, and this will be repainted. You know, I get a lot of comments from people asking me, how do I get these parts to look like new? What I do is I use a wire brush or two. I use sandpaper. I use a wire wheel on an electric drill. And I use a rust preventative paint. I coat them with this, and then I use regular spray paint to paint them whatever color I want. And we're going to come back and look at these parts when I get them done. Here's the wiper motor and the wiper mechanism. I'll go through the wiper motor and make sure it's working as it should, and make sure that the mechanism operates smoothly. Here is the wiper mechanism. Well, as you know, the motor goes right here and moves this in and out. And as that moves in and out, it's on a little spline that makes the wipers go like this is ever going to get driven in the rain. But let's get this cleaned up and make sure it's moving as smoothly as possible. Once again, I'm using the gas that I drained out of the gas tank to clean parts with. We'll get this cleaned up as well as we can, then we'll take it apart and clean out the inside. These I'm going to end up replacing. You know, if you were ever wondering what this looks like inside, we can go down to this end where I took the nuts off and open this up. And you can see that's what it looks like. This moves left and right, moves that gear left and right, and then the wipers. So we're going to take this apart, clean that old grease out, and put nice fresh grease in. This is the tube that the cable for the wipers goes through, and it looks like it's in pretty good shape. I could just clean it up, you know, polish it up a little bit until I get down to this end, and I can see that it's got some rust on it. So this is going to have to be taken down to bare metal and painted. I guess I'll paint it silver. Now, for those of you wondering how I get this stuff shiny, is steel wool. And I'll do the same thing with emblems like, or pieces of chrome like this MGB. We'll rub it with the steel wool, and it'll come out looking like new. pieces like the cover on the wiper mechanism, I'll hit those with a wire brush. And then, here's one that I've worked on already, and then hit it with the steel wool and polish it up, and it'll come out looking pretty darn good. This is the dimmer switch for the high beam headlights, and of course this is the directional lever. We'll go through these, and if they will not function, then I'll replace them with new, but I think I can rebuild them. Here's an example of before and after. This is the little chrome cap that goes above the door edging, and this is one that I haven't cleaned up yet. Here is the cover of the transmission tunnel. These are all the components we took off the car. They've been taken down to bare metal, and they've been painted with POR 15, the rust inhibitor. We will put these in the bags and store them away, waiting for reassembly. So here we are. These are all the parts that we restored and some of the parts that we replaced in this episode. Let's review. The transmission cover with new bolts. We redid the high beam button, and these are the eye bolts that hold on the seat belts. The accelerator pedal has been redone, as is the stop. For the wiper mechanisms, those have all been cleaned up and greased, as is the latch for the trunk, and the little chrome caps, and the trunk itself. We redid the wiper motor, the squeaky door with new stainless steel screws, and the vent system for the defrosters. We also have the tubing and a new tutor bottle for the windshield washers, and of course we redid the hinges for the hood. I know what you're asking. How much did we spend so far on the parts that we needed to replace? Let's take a closer look. The defroster hoses were $10.99 each for a total of $21.98. This is the original seal that went around the trunk latch. We got a brand new one for $1.19. Remember those rusty speed nuts that were holding the MGB logo to the trunk? I bought new ones. It cost me $3.77. The pads for the wiper bezels were 79 cents each for a total of $1.58. My new tutor bottle was $18.99. The new plastic hose for the window washers, I kind of bought in abundance, but still, $10. The chrome retainers for the convertible top and the tonneau cover I replaced. They were $6.99 each for a total of $13.98. Guess who ordered the wrong grommets? They were still $3.58, and I think I can use them for the speedometer cable and the tachometer cable. So, when this episode started, our total was $3,506.40. The total of the parts today was $75.65. We'll add shipping and tax onto that, which came to $13.66, for a total in this episode $89.31. Add that to the $35.06, and the running total in the restoration of our 1964 MGB is $3,595.71. If you think this is starting to get expensive, just wait. In a couple of episodes, we're going to be hauling that shell over to the paint guy. That's going to get pricey. In the meantime, if you would like to follow along with the restoration of this 1964 MGB, please subscribe to Robert's British Cars. Next, we're going to be tackling that front suspension. Until then, see you next lap.